what we've seen here, obviously, in the last week or so is a pretty large bounce in the Bitcoin and crypto price. Risk assets across the board, actually. Let me just bring up the ETF details here. Yeah, basically, so after 2 months of consistent outflows from Bitcoin ETFs, including the two biggest single-day outflow events since the ETFs launched 15 or so months ago, we have seen a massive reversal in the last week. So you can see here, this is data from CoinGlass. So the last week, the green bars are inflows, red bars are outflows. You can see we've had over a month of consistent outflows, but in the last week or so, 2 days where we have nearly $1 billion of net inflows, and that's the highest net inflow days we've seen since early January. Now, obviously, money flowing into Bitcoin through the ETFs, that's good. But I think what's interesting here is that actually the ETF flows, obviously they correlate with the price, but one thing I've noticed here, if you look at the flows, is that the flows tend to be late in both the upside and downside. So the biggest outflows tend to happen after the price has already dropped, and the biggest inflows tend to happen after the price has already run up to some extent. So I think this supports the theory that the ETF, whatever money's coming into the ETF flows, aren't exactly representative perhaps of the quote, like a smart money. And I think that leads us to another story here, which is that sovereign wealth funds, according to Coinbase Institutional's John D'Agostino, sovereign wealth funds are increasingly buying Bitcoin as a gold alternative. And what we've seen, according to his analysis, these sovereign wealth funds accumulated Bitcoin in early April, which drove up the price, and they primarily, his theory is that they primarily accumulated it outside of the ETF.
OTC?
Yeah, so yes, exactly, through OTC deals, basically buying spot Bitcoin and holding it themselves. I guess if you consider sovereign wealth funds to be the smart money, they are front running whoever's buying the ETF flows. I feel like that's what's happening here. But beyond that, sovereign wealth funds buying Bitcoin as an alternative to gold, obviously that's what we want to see. That's incredibly bullish for Bitcoin. It's been in the game theory all along, and it seems to be happening now, according to these insiders. So extremely bullish for Bitcoin.
Do you think, it makes me think that I remember last year the numbers came out on who are the ETF buyers, and they were largely like individuals. They weren't big institutional players yet, right? Like
yes, exactly.
For example,
I've seen that.
My mother kind
I've
of
seen
stuff.
that theory as well. Like people who they didn't understand how to use Coinbase.
And they didn't want to.
But they can just tell their financial advisor to get them some of that orange coin, and it gets done for them.
And it sounds like maybe they are then that kind of, I wouldn't want to say stupid money, but yeah,
this
maybe
supports that theory.
Less sophisticated in that respect.